Hello, my name is John Convery and welcome to this Retire with Coffee Tip of the Week. Thank you for joining me. Listen, I've authored a book a while back. The name of the book is Conquering the Fear of Outliving Your Money. I believe the epiphany is that's the defining question that must be answered by our generation of Americans, the baby boomers, because if you want to sleep well at night in retirement, you want to know or at least have some idea that or assurance that your money's going to last a 25 to 30-year retirement. It starts, in my humble opinion, with celebrating and embracing to your bosom rule number one: don't lose money. That's right. Don't lose money. Now, it seems kind of obvious, but in a frothy stock market, is it really? It seems to me people may just be chasing performance and kind of like it's rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic, maybe part of the White Star Line. I don't know. But at the end of the day, I don't think a lot of people are focusing on rule number one: don't lose money. And see, people often say, but John, don't you have to take big risks to get a bigger reward? Well, perhaps you do, but I would suggest to you that's not necessarily true. Let me give you an example of Warren Buffett. You all know the name, that folksy guy out in Omaha, Nebraska. He's a billionaire worth 70 or 80 billion. 52 years ago, he brought public, I think, Berkshire Hathaway. The price per share of common stock, $19 a share. Recently, it was trading on the New York Stock Exchange, unprecedented levels. It's the most expensive share on the New York Stock Exchange. You know what? You want to know what the price? From $19 a share to 200,000? Nope, $294,000 a share. Wow, that's a few shekels, would you agree? And he did it with less beta or risk. If you look at the numeric, the measurements, have your stockbroker look at it and ask him, was there less standard deviation or less risk in owning Berkshire than the broad markets over that 50-year period? And undeniably, he would emphatically say yes. He did it with less risk. Rule number one simply suggests don't lose money. And so that's what I'm going to encourage you to do. Think about ways where maybe you can have alternative financial instruments that don't necessarily subject all your wealth, a portion of it, in a storehouse for value with some type of protections. For instance, Wharton School of Finance did an academic white study promulgated at the University of Pennsylvania in their economics division that basically back-tested indexed returns on fixed index products over a 5-year, 20-year segments, 5-year intervals. And they found, remarkably, that in some cases, with less risk or volatility, the 5-year cumulative return was better than if you wrote it out in the stock market with no risk of principal loss due to market volatility because you had requisite guarantees from an issuing insurance company protecting your deposit. Wow, that's an awareness. Most people aren't aware of that. It's not my opinion. Look it up. Wharton School of Finance indexed historic returns, and you'll find it. Plumb through on Google, you'll know what I'm talking about. At the end of the day, folks, rule number one simply suggests put a priority on safety. For folks that I love to talk to, at or near retirement, rule number one really resonates because so many people lost money in 2008. You can get a little squeamish and a little less tolerant of risk. And that's true and probably an accurate emotion of where you should be, a little squeamish about being all in the market when you're at or near retirement. Because if you lose money at this point and you're going to step into retirement in the next year, you just may not have time to recover, right? You may not have the time for the markets to snap back. And I'm not a prognosticator. I have no idea what the markets are going to do tomorrow, next month, next year. But we always know, at least historically, markets have run in cycles. You don't want to be on the wrong side of the cycle, in my opinion. But remember, rule number one, this tip of the week from Retire with Coffee: don't lose money. Seek that answer. And as always, an anointing of good health. Thank you for joining me for this Retire with Coffee tip of the week. And have a wonderful, wonderful day.